welcome to my tips, tricks, and specifics video for Disneyland and California Adventure. We stayed at the Hampton Inn & Suites Anaheim Resort Convention Center, so be sure to check out my separate review for that. On the first day of our trip, we went to Disneyland Park and we had lunch at the Storyteller Cafe, which is such a great character meeting experience. You get to meet Mickey and his friends. We got to meet Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Chip, and Dale. The meal is a buffet style, and each character comes to every table. It's also really nice that it's not technically part of either park, so you can dine there no matter which park you're reserved for that day. But you do have to go all the way out of and back into the park, so be sure to not go too far from the entrance until after your meal reservation. Now for this Disney trip, we used Genie Plus Lightning Lane, so let's talk about that. Genie Plus definitely helped us go on more rides than we would have otherwise been able to, but there are some rides that always have long lines and are not included in the Genie Plus Lightning Lane, such as Peter Pan and Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland. So be sure to research which rides you need to prioritize riding when the lines are shortest. And you reserve a window of time for entering the Lightning Lane, so be sure to get on Genie Plus on the app first thing, as sometimes the times that you can reserve a spot for fill up fast, and you want to make sure that you can pick the times that you want. Genie Plus is a little confusing, so let's break it down some. You can only use a Lightning Lane once per ride per day, except for the Tower of Terror Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Avengers Campus, which is 2 different rides, one in the morning, one in the evening. So you can, in theory, use the Lightning Lane for this ride twice. You can have a Lightning Lane reserved for more than one ride at a time, but it can be tricky. You can reserve a ride time for less than 2 hours away and another ride time for more than 2 hours away, but you have to wait about an hour and a half between making the reservations. You can choose whose tickets are reserved for the Lightning Lanes, so you can have different people reserved for different rides at the same time. And if you have some travelers who can't go on certain rides, you could hypothetically use their Lightning Lane for something and/or someone else, wink wink. You can also modify your reserved Lightning Lane times, so that can be helpful if you want to try to do that ride later in the day instead. If you ever need help with Genie Plus or the app, a lot of the cast members around the park should be able to help you, or you can go to guest services. If you really don't want to pay the extra for Genie Plus, then here are a few tips to reduce wait times. Go sometime between mid-January and beginning of March. This is one of the 2 off seasons, but the other off season, mid-September to mid-November, has Halloween decorations and Halloween parties sprinkled throughout, so crowds will probably be larger because of those experiences. Go during the week. Tuesday through Thursday is best, as it is less likely to be impacted by long weekends. On our second day, we actually went to Huntington Beach because California Adventure was going to close early that day because of a Disney Halloween party. I'll talk about this later on, but make sure to check hours of operations for when you want to visit. This Halloween party is so much fun, but we decided to skip it this year as it is an extra cost. Huntington Beach is a fun experience for walking along the pier, to watch the surfers and fishermen, and to get fresh clams before your time on the beach. We finally went to California Adventure on day 3, where we enjoyed the Lamplight Lounge's walk-up area, where you can enjoy their appetizer and drink menus, including kids' burgers and their amazing lobster nachos. As with all Disney dining reservations, you need to watch the availability closely. For dining reservations that are possible to make prior to the day of your visit, such as the Lamplight Lounge's full-themed restaurant, you can make those reservations as much as 60 days in advance. And the really popular places like the Lamplight Lounge or the Blue Bayou restaurant inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride will fill up the day the reservation opens. We also enjoyed their One World Light and Water show that night. As far as additional tips, here are some for you. Utilize the app for show times, ride line wait times, hours of operations, and more. Throughout both parks, there are small shows and performances, character meets, and large parades and experiences. The most efficient way to know about them and to plan them into your day is with the Disney app. There is even a function where you can put into the app what you want most to do and see, and it will try to make suggestions as to the order your day should go in. You can definitely take a more go-with-the-flow approach to do what you do and see what you see, but you will more likely miss things and run out of time. And make sure to look at the hours of operation for rides and attractions. For example, Tom Sawyer's Island in Disneyland and the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail in California Adventure close much earlier than the rest of the park, around dusk. For bigger experiences like the all-day character encounters or the main parade or water show, do not just show up in the nick of time. People will wait for sometimes over an hour to make sure they get in line or get a good viewing spot. Show up at least 30 to 45 minutes before the character is set to leave or the show is set to start. On the note of the app, it uses a lot of battery. So between that and taking photos, bring a portable charger. I cannot stress this enough. Whether you have Genie Plus or not, I recommend showing up as early as you can, as of course, the lines are shorter and there tends to be more characters out when there are smaller crowds and shorter lines. So that's an extra bonus of showing up earlier. Well guys, I hope these tips help you have a smooth, easy, and super fun time at Disney this trip. Be sure to check out my tips, tricks, and specifics video for Universal Studios Hollywood, coming next.